Microsoft makes everybody a developer, PS4 in short supply at launch, and indie games for all today on GTECH. What is up, guys? BriarRabbit here, and before I get started, I want to talk about the gameplay just a little bit. Every once in a while, you have one of those games that was just really exciting to play. And while I've been struggling a little bit with the PS3 controller, I am still having a ton of fun, and this game is tense right down to the end. So enjoy it. It's not the highest KD you're ever going to see, but man, it was really fun to play, so I figured I'd use it as a gameplay. So let's talk about our first story, and this one is about Microsoft and the Xbox One. Microsoft went to the Australia PAX. I think it's called APAX or whatever it is. It's the Penny Arcade Expo in Australia. And they kind of reversed their decision or reversed their position on indie development. Now, previously they were talking that indie development would be handled just like it was on the Xbox 360, and that it would be done, you'd have to get a publisher for your game, and it would go through a publisher, and the publisher would actually get it onto the Xbox One. That's the way it worked with the Xbox 360, and a lot of indie developers weren't too happy about that. Well, on the PS4, it works a little differently. Basically, you're going to be able to self-publish straight to the PS4, and what that does is it creates this awesome environment where, you know, you don't have to have a ton of money to be a creator and to get your game on the PS4. And now that's also going to be true about the Xbox One. But not only did they make that decision, which is pretty exciting, but Microsoft also said that every Xbox One is actually going to be a dev kit or dev kit capable. That is hugely exciting. I'm sure that Microsoft is going to charge some extra fee to enable that functionality on your Xbox, but what that hopefully will enable is a new category of games where anybody can create their own game. You know, using Microsoft's tools and the Xbox One that you have in your living room or on your desk, you'll be able to create any game you can imagine. Now, it's not going to be like making a YouTube video where you get a little bit of familiarity with some software that allows you to edit video. You know, making a game is more of a skill than just making a video. But what I hope it does is it creates an environment just like YouTube where anybody can create anything that they want. You know, you take a little bit of effort, you take a little bit of time, and you can create anything you want, and it could create this huge variety of all kinds of new genres and new ideas in gaming. And it can also spread to, you know, let's say Call of Duty or Battlefield 4, where, you know, these guys, these huge publishers are seeing what these small guys are doing. They like those ideas. Hey, well, we'll take that idea and we'll put it into Call of Duty. We'll hire this guy. He's obviously got some talent. You know, we'll put that in the next Call of Duty or Battlefield. And that is really exciting. Now, along similar lines to this, Microsoft also said that the Xbox One may support mods, and it'd be up to the developer to allow that per game. Now, this is really exciting, too, because this has really only been something that's allowed on the PC. And it's one of the most attractive parts about playing games on the PC, is let's say you get really into playing Skyrim, and some kind of independent developer or some, big fan of the game decides, well, Skyrim is cool, but imagine if it had, huge dragons or, this thing or that thing or better graphics, and they can mod the game. Well, now that may be possible on the Xbox One. That's really something that's only been available on the PC just because the PC is kind of more of an open platform, and you can really dig into stuff, and you don't have to get into the Xbox store to do that. If they allow this to happen, this could be huge. It'd be really exciting. And I'm sure it'd be monetizable, because if the devs are making it happen, then the devs could also charge money for it. So let's say Joe Blow makes a new Skyrim pack that increases makes the graphics a little bit better, or changes the graphics. Or let's say Joe Blow makes a Minecraft skin pack. There's a ton of those available for PC. That kind of stuff could be available for the Xbox One. Now, I'm sure you'll have to pay for it one way or the other, but still, just the option to have that, I find to be really exciting. If somebody does a lot of work to create a cool mod, I don't have a problem paying for it and paying them for that work, and I think this is a really exciting thing. Our next story sounds a little bit dry, but stick with me for just a moment. It's being predicted that the Xbox One could outship the PS4 this holiday 3-1. Now, that doesn't sound like that big a deal, but it is a big deal if you think about how many people are going to be looking for each of these consoles. I don't know if you guys remember way back when the PS3 and the Xbox 360 were announced and the Wii, but there were huge lines for all of those consoles, and it was a big problem. The Xbox 360 really wasn't available widely for months after release. The PS3, I think, was pretty widely available right after release, but the Wii, it took like a year for that thing to catch up to supply, or to demand, the supply to catch up to demand. And it was a big problem. Now, the companies love having those headlines where, you know, there's big lines, people are waiting outside of Walmarts and Targets and GameStops to get their new consoles. You know, it creates good headlines for the companies in, you know, the mainstream press. And companies love that. You always see it, Apple does it, you know. But the problem is, when you have a competing product like we have in this console generation, this upcoming console generation, and they're going head-to-head and they're being released at pretty similar times, it could be a huge problem for Sony if they cannot get enough of these things on the shelf, and people are saying, well, I can't get a PS4, so I'll buy the Xbox One instead. That could be a huge problem with Sony, so I hope that they have enough of these things in stock. I wonder what their strategies are, respectively, both Microsoft and Sony, about this, because you know that both companies want those lines to form, and they don't want to flood the market because they don't want these things just sitting on shelves, but they want to make sure that people who want them can get them. So it's a fine line that they really have to tread, and it's particularly difficult, I believe, this time around. And I got them. So as you can see, it was a pretty exciting gameplay. It definitely wasn't the highest KD ever, and I'm working hard to kind of get my aim better on the PS3, but it was a really fun game, and it was really exciting, and it was tense right down to the last second, and I actually think that was the other guy who was competing for first place. So it was a really fun gameplay. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys like this video, hit that like button. It really helps me out. It helps grow the channel, helps it get in front of other people's eyeballs. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I try and make a video almost every day. And I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, bye.